Digital printing is very easy to get the right size you want for a project. And one of my grandchildren is turning 8 this weekend and she loves foxes. So I'm going to show you how I'm putting together an album. And this might come in steps. I'm not sure how long it'll take. I've already made some things to go into pockets, and I'm going to show you the different steps. I have 3 things to teach you. I've already started the binding. I have a 3-inch, I think it's 3, a 3-inch binding, and I've prepared a binder for the back that will hold my signatures. I'm making 7 signatures. And to make a binder, I score cardstock, and I'm only having thin pockets, so I don't need a lot of room in it. So I only did 3/8 of an inch between these ones, but I just score it, and then I glue them together to make tabs, and the pockets will fit over the tabs. And so I've already prepared that ahead. I'm using gaff tape, but construction tape, and I line my edges with that, and I put this greenish blue top so you could see what I'm doing. It's a very dark album, and the green will show up better on the black paper. So I just put this about halfway on the tape, and I just place it on the edge of my craft board. I think this is the most awkward part of this project, but it makes a nice, strong, smooth edge. Now this is terrible, but it tears easily, but I find if I cut it, it's not as rough. So I have it rubbed against the edge. I'm going to go to my corners and cut a V out of my corners so it can overlap. I'm using Teflon scissors. These happen to be from Close to My Heart. I find when I use regular scissors, my scissors get stuck in the gaff tape really easily. So I'm doing it on both sides of my corners. The ends don't need it because won't show. So turning it over, get the other side of the triangles. And then I just work this gaff tape down to make it smooth, and it doesn't get totally adhered right away. So if it's not smooth and you got a wrinkle, you can easily just pick it up and make it smooth. You can decide if you want to burnish it or not. So I start in the middle and I just run, very sticky, run my fingers down. It gives me a nice smooth edge. Then I'm going to lay it, let's see, I'm going to lay it on top of my last one. I do have a little wrinkle here. Just rub it out and it'll get nice and smooth. Laying on top of my binder, I see a little edge here, so I'm just going to trim that off. And now I want to take a piece that's at least 1 inch longer than on both sides. The hardest thing is getting it off your fingers. So at least 1 inch longer, can be more, but remember it's sticky. And then I'm placing my layers that are on top of each other, the binding layer and the cover layer, on top of each other, smooth, halfway. So half of the tape will be covered, like so. And I lift them up together and I fold it over, just like that. When I open this, there's a little space there, and that's okay because we're going to be filling that space with the gaff tape also. But this will allow, that one's a little wrinkle, so straighten it out. This will allow a hinge of your cover book. And this is for a child. I have a little ruffle there, and I think I might just leave it there. Now I take one more piece of gaff tape, and I just cover up the rest of that hinge. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're going to be covering the book with photos or design paper after. And we now have a binder all ready to go. Now I'm going to put my tabs, my binder tabs, on here. And I've already put just a little bit of double-sided tape. You don't want a lot because you want these hinges to be fairly flexible. And then if you have them flexible, the book will lie flat. So even though I have these papers, let's see if I can get them in the trash, I'm going to add a little bit of liquid glue right on top of it. The liquid glue will give you some movability, and the double-sided tape will give you some instant adhering. Now, if you've watched my videos before, you know that I have a little trouble getting off my score double-sided tape, the adhesive cover. And one other thing I like to do, let's see, I like to put a piece right near my binding on the actual cover, just for a little extra security, like so. Yeah, I didn't burnish that, and it just took the adhesive off as well as the liner. That's better. Now, I find a thin layer of glue works well. So today I'm using Barely Art glue. I'm putting some right over where I just put that adhesive. And on this one, right where I have the adhesive also. Remember, I don't want a lot of adhesive because I want this a little flexible so my signatures, when I'm finished with this album, will fold flat. I'm going to place this 7. One has a little bit bigger hole. I'm going to place this right down on my spine, like so. And I forgot to get my Teflon score tool out. That's nice because it doesn't leave any marks on the black, but didn't get that. So I'm going to run my score tool down my spine, indent it a little. Now if you want, you can also put some more gaff tape right over the binding to help secure it. Remember, this is going to a child and might be handled a bit. So before you decorate it, add a little bit more tape. I think I'm hurrying here. My little iPad doesn't make long videos. And that's why I always have to have things in parts. And so sometimes I hurry, and I also had coffee.